If you're a man over 40 and you want to find the right woman, you have to understand a couple of really important concepts. Number one, you already have an amazing life that you can invite her into. Most likely, you've got your health handled. You're in good shape. Financially, you're in a good position. Maybe you're in a fantastic position. You're already a really kind and generous and caring and genuine person. You are already the type of man who plenty of women would love to be with. The only thing that you suck at is communication. Now you might say, David, in my business, I communicate well. In my career, I'm a good communicator. Fair enough. But the dating-specific communication, that's where you suck at. And it's perfectly okay to admit that. And it's not even your fault. You simply haven't been taught that skill set. It is just a skill set. There's three things that you have to develop to be able to find the right one. The first one is communication. The second one is confidence. The third one is an understanding of the social dynamics of attraction. But the good news is 98% of the work is already done. You are already the type of man who plenty of women would love to be with. You've already shaped yourself into that person. Now maybe when I'm saying these things, you become aware of your own flaws because you've got quite a heavy inner dialogue, and that's awesome and that's good because it's helped you in a lot of areas. But in dating, an unreasonable degree of confidence is required. You can't be too self-critical when you enter the realm of social dynamics. You have to be fully grounded in your value as a man. And value not meaning I'm better than somebody else, but the value you're able to provide to a woman. And that comes in a variety of different ways. Yeah, you can provide financial security, but that's not even the greatest motivator. That's one of it. Being a kind and caring person is one. And also being able to provide good emotions. That's in essence what women want. That's in essence what you want. What are we here on this earth for? If it's not to experience life and good emotions. It doesn't matter what you have on the outside. If the emotions you experience on the daily basis aren't great. If you experience frustration, anger, sadness, a sense of shyness, a sense of insecurity on a daily basis, that's exactly what your life is. Women want to experience great emotions. And that's why you have to learn to communicate in a way where you build a man-to-woman connection, where you communicate your personality authentically and authentically and effectively, where she's in stitches, laughing, she's excited. And that doesn't mean that you have to become super funny. You don't have to become a comedian. You don't have to be super funny. I've had plenty of clients who aren't funny at all, who are in amazing relationships. There's a difference between providing great emotions and being funny. You don't have to be a comedian. Yes, I recommend watching stand-up comedy 1 to 2 hours a week to infuse yourself with positivity and light-hearted energy. That's absolutely powerful, but it's not about being funny. You just have to become the greatest source of good emotions and she'll get addicted to you. And that's not some weird manipulation tactic. It's just the natural way of life. You like the people the most in your life who either provide great objective utility in the form of business opportunities, but
even those people you don't really like, if they're a sack of negative energy.
The people you really want to spend time with are obviously men and women who you have your values in common with, but at its very essence, it's people who contribute to positive emotions. And the great news is, it's something that's already inside of you. You already have the ability to do that in terms of your natural essence as a man. You already have everything that it takes, on the one hand, from one perspective, to generate positive emotions within you. But at the same time, there's also an external skill set that you just have to create. Men aren't born with an understanding of how to relate to women. Yes, on the one hand, you can say it's natural in all of human history. Throughout all of human history, all of our great-great-grandparents have procreated, so it's in you, yes, on the one hand. But most of our parents, most of the people you know, they're not in happy relationships. Just because you're in a relationship doesn't mean you won in the area of dating and relationships. If just being in a relationship was the only parameter of success, well, plenty of people would be successful, but they're deeply unhappy. They're just staying together because they agreed upon it a long time ago, and now they feel forced to because they've entered either a legal contract, a societal contract, because of internal and external expectations, but they're not really happy. In order to create a high-quality relationship, you have to be with somebody with whom you have a high degree of compatibility. To get to somebody, to find somebody, and attract and keep somebody with whom you have a high degree of compatibility, you got to be able to create choice. And this is not some pickup artist player You're not here to date around forever. You want to find a meaningful, serious relationship. Perhaps somebody that you can have a family with, children with. If you already have children, just somebody that you can share your life with. Somebody who's probably physically attractive, doesn't have to be a top model, but somebody that you really genuinely like. Somebody who has the same values as you, somebody who can intellectually stimulate you, somebody who supports you, somebody who's loyal and genuine. And that person is out there for you, but you have to work on your communication, you have to develop your confidence, and you have to study the dynamics of attraction. But the great news are, who you are as a man, you're already almost there. Because understand that it's not normal for a man to be super kind and nice. You know this nice guy finished last. No, it's not about being nice. You can be kind, you can absolutely be nice. But you also have to learn to set boundaries and create attraction. It's not about not being nice. How on earth are you going to be in a relationship if you can't be nice? How on earth are you going to sustain any type of healthy relationship if you're not kind? You have to be kind. You have to be nice. It's an absolute prerequisite for any healthy relationship, for sure. And all the people who are currently in your life are in your life because you're nice and kind, because you're in touch with that feminine side of yours. But it goes beyond that. It's a requirement, but it's not sufficient. There's more that has to happen. You have to learn how to hold eye contact, how to shape the conversation on the date in a way where she'll leave feeling stimulated, be that in a physical manner or even just in a verbal and intellectual manner. You are already somebody who plenty of women would love to be with. You've put so much work into being the person you are, and you don't even give yourself credit for it. All the times you went to the gym, for years you've worked out. For example, I have clients who are in their 60s who are running marathons or ultra marathons, right? The amount of work that goes into that. I've been with a client and I told him, in this venue, in this bar where you are, and you don't have to go to bars to meet women, you can just use online dating theoretically, but bars are a great place as well. You're the only one who does that here. Do you know how special that is? I have clients who are PhDs in neuroscience, doctors, lawyers, business owners, some young guys who are really ambitious, who run their own business, or software engineers, anything and everything in between. Men who really want to achieve something cool. And it starts with understanding how special you really are. And you might not think of yourself as such, but what you have accomplished in different areas, and especially all of them taken together, is really something. If you look at your health, you're 40, perhaps 50, 60, maybe older. You're in good health, you're financially doing good, and you're a kind person, a genuinely well-intentioned person. Doesn't mean you don't have your flaws. Everybody has their flaws, everybody makes mistakes. That's fine. But you're genuinely somebody who has the best interest of people at heart. You're honest, you're loyal, you act with integrity. If you say you're gonna do something, you do it. That's maybe 5% of men. 1%, 10%, you are without a doubt already in the top 10%. If you live in the US, for example, in the US, not even in the world probably be even more than that, but it's a very rare combination. You are not even competing with 100% of the men out there. You're not even competing with 100% of the men out there because of who you are, and the right woman will recognize that if and only if you put your ego aside and you start learning communication skills in a dating specific context. Yes, you may be good already in a general social context, in a business context, but it's very different with women. You can't even approach. You can't even walk up to a woman being sober without alcohol or mushrooms or whatever, or caffeine, and introduce yourself. How on earth are you going to find a meaningful, serious relationship if you can't even introduce yourself to somebody that you meet during the day or at night and say, excuse me 2 seconds, I really like your outfit, had to come and say hi, and start a conversation, get contact details, meet up for a date, and then evaluate whether or not you're right for each other. You can't even do that yet. She will never find out what an awesome guy you are if you don't dedicate yourself to the process. You're pissing away so many opportunities. What the are you doing, man? You're so close. You're X amount of months away. You're X amount of interactions away from a mind-blowing, amazing relationship. I was married to a woman who wasn't right for me. I was married to a woman who barely tolerated my existence. I came home and she was like, dishes, please? Now, when I come home from work or I work from home, Fernanda comes to me and says, Daddy's home. I'm like, Daddy. Or I say, Daddy's home. Fernanda's like, Daddy. There's a degree of playfulness, love, intimacy. It's completely different. And I've done it with men from 30 countries. It's possible. If they can do it, you can do it. But it's not enough just being the type of guy. You can't just be this high-value man. You can't just be a great, good man. You also have to communicate it, because there's studies that show that your even physical attractiveness, your overall attractiveness, is determined by what women know about you. How do they find out things about you? Depending on what and how you communicate it. If you don't do these things, if you don't dedicate yourself to taking online dating serious, which only takes 15 minutes a day for one high quality date a week, if you don't dedicate yourself for a period of months, couple of months, could be 1, could be 12, to put yourself out there, to go all in, you'll never find a great relationship and you're gonna settle. You're gonna settle for a woman who you're like, yeah, she's all right. She's okay. If it's not a hell yes, it's a hell no. You should look and be like, whoa, it's amazing. I'm not just talking about the physical, I'm talking about the connection, intellectual stimulation. Your values are aligned. You're really attracted to each other. That's an amazing base. And it's not about aiming for perfection, but you can aim for really, really close to it. You're very rarely gonna do better than what you aim for. Sometimes, yes, fine. I mean, if you were to take action strategically without aiming, you'd probably get the result anyway. But more often than not, if you don't aim, you're not gonna get it. You have something internally called your reticular activation system, as Tony Robbins calls it, or your selective focus. Have you ever had that? You bought a belt, you bought a car, you bought a watch, and you bought an AP, you bought a Rolex, whatever, right? Pair of shoes, so anything. And all of a sudden, after you bought it, or even before buying it, while considering buying that particular item, you started noticing it in your immediate environment. You're like, oh, I must have manifested it. No, you didn't manifest it. It's been all around you all the time. You just didn't allow yourself to notice it because your brain is overwhelmed. There's so many data points that are flooding your brain at any given point in time that most of them make it into your unconscious but not into the conscious mind, because otherwise you wouldn't even be able to function. That's why we categorize things in life. And that's why our brain filters things out and only shows us the things that are either the highest opportunity for us or the highest threat. And by default, your brain is always going to pay more attention to a threat, because something that's bad can be a million times worse than something good can be good. Because there's only so much positivity you can experience, but the ultimate, if you think negativity all the way to its end, a threat, it's death. You're dead. So your brain, left to its own devices, will always look for what's wrong by itself. That's why it's your responsibility to focus on the good things, the things that empower you. Because your brain's job is to help you survive. It's not to make you happy. So, come back full circle. Your brain has to filter things out. And if you don't even make something an opportunity or a threat, but like really, if you want to motivate yourself long term and enjoy the process, you have to be driven by pleasure, not by pain, not away from, but more towards motivation. You got to imagine how awesome life could be, and thereby ascribe value to something, emotional value. Thereby you start noticing things in your immediate environment. Opportunities. You don't even know what type of woman you want to be with if you haven't even written down your must-haves, nice-haves, and deal-breakers. If you haven't even done that yet, you haven't taken it serious. How on earth could you possibly think that you can get a high-quality relationship, which is an extraordinary outcome, without putting in some amount of strategic action for X amount of months? You have 112 waking hours available to yourself every single week. Let that sink in. 112. If you sleep 8 hours a night, which you should, most people really should, don't sacrifice your sleep. If you do that, 112 waking hours, can you invest 5 to 8? Can you go on a date? Can you socialize a little bit? Right? If you don't even do that yet, you're not even taking it serious. So you really have to ask yourself, what do you want more? Do you want to have your ego or do you want to have results? Oh, I should be able to figure this out myself. Says who? There's only 2 ways to learn anything in life. By yourself and from other people. How many things in your life have you actually learned just by yourself? Without any type of help whatsoever? Very few things. Walking perhaps? Not even speaking. Most things we learn from other people. But all of a sudden, when it comes to this dating and relationship thing, we as men have an ego. Oh, I should know how to do this by myself. No, why? Why? You don't. You're already not getting the result. How much longer do you want to cling onto your ego? Figure this out. Commit yourself to the process. You're this close to an amazing relationship. A woman who looks at you, who loves you. You're aligned. It's actually possible. If other people have done it, you can do it too. There's no good logical reason as to why a man like yourself shouldn't be in a relationship. You have mindset problems. You have limiting beliefs. That's what coaching is for. Apply for a free initial consultation call. Let me help you with it personally. I'd love to do that. We've done it from with men from 30 plus countries, hundreds of men from all around the world. It's an absolute passion of mine. It's an amazingly enjoyable process. There's so many things you don't even know that you don't know. You're already doing a lot of things right. Probably you're getting some dates, just not enough. Not with the right types of ones. Maybe they lose a little bit of interest in you. Fine. Let's fix all that. Commit yourself to the process, and it's going to be a worthwhile journey. And you're not supposed to date forever. You do it for X amount of months, for 1 or 12 or something in between, and then you're done with it. And then you have somebody by your side, potentially forever. Apply for a free call. Looking forward to speaking with you soon. Take care.